Intelligence is measured by the efficiency of our investment protocols of energy relative to the return of sustainable well-being. We all want sustainable well-being, and so every investment of time, money, and natural resources is a bet, is a belief that doing that thing in this way at this time will generate some short-term or long-term well-being. And the more desperate we are, meaning the more we're suffering, the more we'll take short-term gratification, the wiser we are, often reflected in a lower degree of suffering, the more we're looking at how our choices today will affect the future, the next 5, 10, 20 years of our lives. Now, of the three forms of primary energy, meaning intelligence is measuring the efficiency with which energy is converted into sustainable well-being, and the three primary forms of energy are time, money, and natural resources. Now, an individual can be a trillionaire, meaning there's no limit to the amount of money that an individual can make. We may see trillionaires in our generation in the next 100 years. It's highly likely. There's a limit, but it's a very big limit to how much or natural resources an individual can allocate or consume or direct. But every human being has a very finite amount of time, less than 150 years. And that makes time the most precious as the most finite. Meaning you can be a trillionaire, but no one's lasted longer than 150 years. Someone without a penny can last longer than a trillionaire. Someone with no allocation authority for natural resources can live longer than somebody else. So time is precious in its finiteness. Now, the goal here is to free up more and more of that finite resource to be focused on preference, to move beyond the needs to survive and feel secure in that survival, to exploring who we want to be and how we want to spend that time and with whom. Now, a very big part of 10x living is about reducing fixed mandatory expenses, such as the $5,000 home I'm making this video in, 95% of which is dormant and underutilized at any given moment. So a tremendous amount of time freedom is correlated with reducing expenses. And that's correlated with co-investing, sharing, and synergizing in terms of right now my kitchen, like it is 95% of the time, is not being used by anyone. It's a $100,000 kitchen. So if that kitchen can first be turned into a $75,000 kitchen and then be used by 100 people rather than one from time to time, it becomes 99% more affordable as that cost is divided between 100 people. Now, as the cost goes down, the amount of minutes every day spent earning the money to survive and feel secure in that survival and to generate pleasure goes down. So time freedom and expense freedom are correlated. The goal here is to reduce mandatory expenses that you have to do to as low as possible while increasing the quality of life, such that no one is working more than 4 hours a day out of survival and security of survival. Now, if you love your work and you're enamored with a project, etc., you can spend as much time as you want, as much time as you have in the project. But that's an enriching experience to do something because you love it, because it matters to you. Whereas in much of American culture today, work is a place that I have to be, that I get through, that I survive in order to make the money that I need in order to survive and feel secure in that survival. So that's what we're tackling in the dimension of time.